Hi there, I'm Jamie McGonagill with Ocala Equine Healing, and today we are working with Birdie. Birdie is a competitive jumper horse. She's 11 years old, and she gets very tense when she's working, almost working herself into a panic. And then sometimes that will come out in a strange little jump, and then she'll get herself back on track again, but in the meantime she gets disconnected and it makes it hard for her to do her best. And so today we're going to do a healing session to try and heal the root causes of that problem and whatever it represents in such a way as to get Birdie back on track with her destiny so she can live the life that she came here to live and compete the way she was born to compete. Just a reminder, in these healing sessions, when the energy starts to move, it's common for my eyes to move in my head, for me to yawn, for my nose to run, for me to sweat. All of these are common physical responses to energy moving in the body, so don't let it freak you out. If it happens and when it happens, it's a normal sign. Birdie is also likely to show some symptoms. She's likely to move around unusually, stretch, have body responses. Those are good things. Those are good signs. If you have questions after watching this healing demonstration, or even right now, you're welcome to go to my website at ocalaequinehealing.com, and that should answer a lot of your questions. And you're also welcome to email me, and I'm happy to answer your questions as well. All right, Birdie, you ready to get going? Let's get going. Today is Wednesday, December 30th, 2020. Today is Birdie's first healing session, and today we're working to heal the root causes of a pattern of tension during work times, of disconnecting emotionally from the rider, of feeling panicked, sometimes even not breathing, stopping breathing during the work times. And whatever that symptom represents, in such a way as to align Birdie with her destiny, with her soul plan, with the life that she was born to live. Now, Birdie, the first thing for you to remember, and always the most important thing for you to remember, is that the presences who are speaking to you in this healing session today are, for the most part, your own guardian angels. Those really big guys upstairs who know you and love you better than anybody else in the whole world. Because we only just met. We know each other very little. But upstairs there are presences who have known you since long before this life began, and they know the mistakes you're likely to make, they know the thoughts you're likely to fall into, and so if anybody is likely to give you good advice on how to deal with your life, how to handle yourself, it's these presences way upstairs, these really good guys upstairs. And so they're the ones who are most likely to be speaking to you today. And it's possible that we're also going to be able to connect with the much higher guardian angels who seem to be responsible for competitive jumper horses of North America. And they've shown up in other sessions before. It would be nice if they're available and willing to help us now. It's never guaranteed that anybody is going to show up, and so who shows up, we're grateful when they do. Now, softening the energy body and starting to merge the energy bodies together, softening my own electromagnetic field and starting to merge the electromagnetic fields together. Softening my energy body and starting to merge into Birdie's energy body, merging into Birdie's electromagnetic field. There we go. Okay, Birdie, you should be starting to feel a warm, tingling sensation moving through the physical body. You should be starting to feel a calming sensation moving through your emotional body. And you should be starting to feel a clearing sensation moving through your mental body. Every time you listen to this healing recording, just remember that the energy is being imprinted into the audio recording. And so every time it plays, you should be able to feel these feelings working in your body over and over again. And every time you have the opportunity to heal more and more and more deeply. Every time you have the opportunity to feel better and better and better. There we go, softening the energy bodies and merging the energy bodies together more deeply. Now, starting to draw the focus down, down, down to the feet, out the base of the feet, and starting to draw up that toroid of energy that spins through horse country and drawing it up through the vertical pillar of the energy body, up the back of the energy body. And now drawing that toroid of energy up through the feet, all the way up the back of the energy body, and all the way up out the top of the head. Getting that toroid of energy spinning through the vertical pillar of the energy body. There you go. You're likely to feel it in your legs, you're likely to feel it in your back, and also a tingle at the head. Nothing about this should feel uncomfortable. If you feel something that makes you feel uncomfortable, give me a good strong signal and we will back up right away. There we go, merging the energy bodies together and now drawing the focus to the heart chakra, that energy point right at the center of the chest, and starting to open up the front of the heart chakra wider, 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 really opening wide the doors at the front of the heart chakra for Birdie. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply and opening wide those doors at the front of the heart chakra. And asking up to Birdie's own guardian angels, and if we're able to reach them, those guardian angels who are responsible for the jumper horses of North America, those competitive jumper horses that we work with, and asking if they're willing to send a river of higher vibration healing energy in through the front of that heart chakra, expanding that heart chakra all the way around. Really merging the heart chakras and expanding it with that higher vibration healing energy, really expanding it, and now drawing the focus to the back of the heart chakra and exhaling out the back, letting that river of higher vibration healing energy flow in the front and all the way out the back of the merged heart chakra, merging more deeply for Birdie. So far so good, right? There you go, and now exhaling all the way out the back, merging the energy bodies together more deeply, and now drawing the focus to the back doors of the heart chakra and opening wide the doors at the back of the heart chakra while merging the energy bodies together more deeply. Calling those guardian angels who are responsible for Birdie and asking them to send a river of higher vibration healing energy in through the back of the heart chakra now, all the way in through that door in the back there, and exhaling all the way out the front. Merging together more deeply and exhaling out the front. There we go, and down into the riverbed of the heart chakra, where so often we hide a lot of the resentment, a lot of the fear, a lot of the anger, a lot of the confusion, a lot of the in general bad feelings. There we go, and now we can exhale it all the way out the front while merging in more deeply. And now drawing the focus again to that vertical pillar of the energy body, merging more deeply, pulsing that toroid of energy through the vertical pillar. And now finding the exact intersection point where the heart chakra meets the vertical pillar of the energy body. finding that exact center of the self, really getting a hold of that exact center point for Birdie. And now starting to build a critical mass of that higher vibration, healing energy from the guardian angels. Building that critical mass until it pops, creating a bubble all the way around all of us, and expanding that bubble all the way around the entire barn, all the way around the entire training facility, around the whole farm, and around everywhere where Birdie lives and works. Because right now we're in show season, and so where you work a lot is at the showgrounds, not necessarily here at the farm where you live. And so including those showgrounds inside the sacred bubble and claiming the interior of the bubble as sacred, safe, private, healing, learning, growing space. Its clear only presences we invite in are welcome to join us, and all others either move around the outside of the sacred space, or if they break in, they're breaking divine law, and much, much bigger eyes than ours are watching them. Now, merging the energy bodies together more deeply and having the intention that every single time this recording plays, that sacred space be created and strengthened over and over again, so that every single time, Birdie, you're living more and more and more inside a place that's touched by the divine, that's protected by the angels, that's surrounded by spirit. Now feeling that vertical pillar of energy really rushing through the energy bodies and merging together more deeply, reaching up out through the top of that vertical pillar and starting to open up a taller trap door between where we are and where the guardian angels are, so that every time this recording plays, it's easier for them to find where you are so they can get you the help you need, the resources you need. There we go. Now really finding those guardian angels way up there and finding the ones who have the identification that matches Birdie, who have, it's almost like a little logo of you on their identification cards. And we can find them and we can reach up to them, really get a hold of them way up there. And now, once we get a hold of those guardian angels, reaching up and asking them for their guidance, their support, their protection during the process today. And now reaching up and calling for Birdie's own higher soul, that higher aspect of Birdie's own soul way up there. Finding that higher soul, connecting up with that higher soul, and asking the higher soul for permission to do this work with the energy body today. And now Birdie, it's very common for there to be a feeling of disconnect during this current era between the higher soul and the incarnating soul. Very commonly with people that I work with, horses, humans, any species, the higher soul feels a little disconnected, the way yours feels right now. So we're going to ask that higher soul if she's willing to reach down and make the connection here with the life, with where Birdie actually is on the ground, really opening up the top of that pillar and making that kind of soul connection. There we go. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply, pulsing that toroid, reaching up to the guardian angels and asking them, what do we do now to heal the root causes of a pattern that Birdie has of panicking while working, or freezing while working, or feeling disconnected while working, and whatever it represents in such a way as to align her with her soul plan so she can live the life that she came here to live. What do we do now? I think possibly the best way to explain it, the best way to describe it, is that Birdie has a lack of self-confidence when she's working. There's a lack of feeling like she can do it. There's a little bit of a can't do attitude while working, right, Birdie? And asking the guardian angels, what do we do about that? What do we do about that? And the first thing we're starting to feel, and I'm going to have to babble it out, and I might have to back up and correct myself, but the first thing we're starting to feel is this feeling of a lack of soul in the body, a lack of consistent soul presence in the body. And what this is starting to feel like, oh, this is fascinating, is it's starting to feel like this has to do with the early years of your life. And the angels are talking about, and I feel like I've just recently worked with another jumper horse who had very similar situation. The angels are talking about how you lived a number of places before you came to be here, and how there was a period of a lot of upset, a lot of things happening in your life where you lived in different places with different people. There was a lot going on, very little consistency in your life. And this feels like early on in that period of life when things were really, really disrupted for you. It feels like the original soul of the life, the soul that you were born with and that you had your body start off the training with, feels like early on that soul decided that this was not going to work out. And this happens often with horses who were born in one place and then moved to radically different places, like horses who were born abroad, or even horses who were born in different parts of the country. It's a big nation. There's a lot of land between where you were born and where you are now. And it's very common for the souls to become disconnected, which is starting to feel like a theme in your life. So what it feels like is early on, the original soul decided that she did not want to stick around in the body. This is a fascinating pattern. But then every life's response to that situation is different, and some lives will then very quickly have another soul who moves in and kind of takes over the life, but some lives have rotating souls who move through, and each soul leaves a different imprint, each soul has a different experience in the life. And what it feels like is you had rotating souls for a number of years moving through the life. And it feels like each soul brought baggage, different kinds of baggage, different kinds of trauma experiences, different kinds of trauma responses. And now you have the interesting opportunity where you have this library of information from a myriad of souls who have moved through your life over the past, really feels like 10 years or so. And what the angels are saying is most people would only focus on the bad part of this. Most people would only focus on how each soul brought troubles with them. But when we think about it as a library of information, and when we go into, sorry, my eyes are moving through the dimensional veils, when we go into the library of the mind, we can also feel all of the information, all of the skill, all of the good things that all of those souls left behind. And that's been kind of locked up. Oh, interesting. And so what the angels are saying is these experiences when you're working, you have these moments of feeling like you can't handle what's coming at you, and sometimes you do this little hop. What it feels like is the angels are working with you. I just worked with another jumper who had a very similar situation, so this is fascinating. It feels like the angels are working with you to try and shake loose all of those pieces of information, all of the library of skill that those other souls had brought and left in your life, left in your energy body when they left. And sometimes that little shake, that little jump that the angels are giving you also shakes loose a little bit of a trauma, a little bit of a bad thing left behind by one of those traveling souls. And so for you, it's probably been very, very confusing, because you can feel there's this feeling of an unlocking. All it probably feels like to you is like inside of you, a box unlocks, and some of it is good and some of it is bad. Good response, good girl. Some of it is good and some of it is bad. All you know is something happens and then it gets really jumbled up. And the beautiful thing is it doesn't feel like you have any kind of blaming of the rider. It feels like you are trusting of your rider. You feel like it's not the rider's responsibility for why this is happening. There we go. But you do kind of shut down, which is a common response when we feel something unlocking within us and we're in a high pressure situation, is to say, wow, I really need to stop whatever it is I'm doing to figure out what this feeling is, to figure out what's going on. Is it good? Is it bad? There we go. And what the angels are trying to do in those moments is they're trying to unlock whatever that information is that is available to you from one of the souls who moved through your life during a period of a lot of disruption where a lot of stuff was happening. They're trying to make that information available to you by unlocking the door to that piece of information, the lid of that box, of that part of the library. And some bad stuff is going to roll out probably before the information. Probably the first thing you'll feel is the trauma coming up. The first thing you'll feel is whatever the bad thing was that soul was hoping to leave behind when they left your life and never ever see again. Probably that's the first thing you'll feel. And so what you're going to need to do in those moments is let that bad thing roll up and out through you. And then the beautiful information, the beautiful gift that will make it, having been worth it to host all of those souls for that period of years where those souls were just blowing through you. And the angels are talking about how one of the really beautiful things about your life is that you're really good at your job. You're a very, very talented jumper. You have a lot of natural ability, and you have a lot of mental alignment with the job. And so probably these souls were attracted to you because of that. Probably these souls wanted to be working in your life because you had so much natural ability. There we go. And so they were moving through your life, and when they decided they wanted to leave, each of them individually for themselves decided it's time for me to leave now. It feels like they jettisoned the bad stuff they wanted to get rid of and took the good stuff of yours they wanted to keep. There we go. Beautiful. And so the beautiful gift for us is if we just heal the bad stuff that they wanted to let go of, we can unlock all the beautiful things they were willing to leave behind in order to make you even better, to make you more and more the horse that you were born to be. And that is a really, really good thing. So let's start the process of doing that right now. And just a reminder, honey, most horses it takes 3 to 5 sessions for full resolution of problems. And so if all your problems don't go away after this first healing session, don't freak out, okay? It's possible we'll have the chance to come back and work with each other again and again and again to really heal the problems in your life, okay? But this is how we begin. We just have to start somewhere and do something, and almost always it shakes something loose. Almost always it gets a little bit better. Now merging the energy bodies all the way through, deeper, deeper. And what we're going to start to do is, with the guardian angel's help, we're going to start to open up the lids of the boxes left behind by each soul. And it's beautiful. Verdi, you're probably familiar with this, how in show horse stables, each rider or usually it's the riders, they have these big boxes that they keep stuff in, and sometimes the boxes have logos or names on them so that people know whose box belongs to who. And that's what it looks like inside the center of this energy body. When we really start to look at it, we can see all of these boxes that look like the show stable boxes, and each one is for each soul who's come through your life in just about the past 10 years. And so what we can start to do is we can start to open the boxes one by one, and out of each box we can take out the bad stuff, that which is unhelpful, the trauma, the bad responses, whatever is left behind that soul was hoping to unload. We can start to pull it up and out of the box. There we go. And probably the best thing that we can do is a way of showing our gratitude for them giving us the good stuff, the information they left behind in the energy body, is that we can burn it. We can transmute that energy into clean, fresh energy. There we go. So in a sense, we're doing a service for those presences who gave us the information that we needed to become more and more successful. And then as we burn that trauma, burn that debris that they left behind, there you go, we can start to bring up the good things, the information, the genius things. There we go. The things that turn a very, very good competitor into an unstoppable competitor. And we can start to bring those up and out of the show boxes in the energy body. There we go. Beautiful. Now, merging the energy bodies together more deeply. Let's open up the next box, and what it should start to feel like is a releasing of that uncomfortable feeling, that releasing of the feeling like you're holding on to all these ticking time bombs inside of you. Now merging the energy bodies together, and let's go to the next box and really opening up the next box in the energy body. There we go. Going into the library of the energy body, and that's what it looks like a big old library. And starting to open up the next box, and first we bring out that which is unhelpful, the trauma responses, the fear, the old memories that the soul wanted to leave behind and never see again, and we can burn them. There we go. So they're out of your energy body and also gone from that soul's experience as a way of thanking them for what they have given us. And now we can bring out the beautiful things they left behind, the gifts, the genius, that which turns us from good to great. And we can release that into the energy body so it flows through us like blood. So it flows through us like life. There we go. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply. Here, I want to turn the camera so everyone can see how you're relaxing, how you're calming down, how you're coming into your own body again. There we go. And now, as is very common, Birdie has started to fall asleep. She started to lose the consciousness. There we go. And Birdie, that's very common. And don't worry, every time you work with this recording, the energy will work over and over again. So even if you miss out on it because you fell asleep, there we go. The healing is still very much alive. And now let's go to the next box. There we go. Finding that next big show box and starting to open the lid. And the first thing that comes out is something that feels like a nightmare. And we can clear it out of the energy body and right away burn it, right away burn it, right away burn it, so it leaves the energy body. And then we can release again the good things you're supposed to have learned from that soul. So So it moves through the energy body, and now let's do one more. There's one more really big one. So merging in more deeply, moving to that part of the energy body, really feeling that part of the energy body, and now opening up that big lid to that big box left behind by some really good soul. There we go. And it feels like that soul, he was very consciously aware of what he was doing. And it's a soul who seems to like to work inside the lives, there you go, of really talented jumpers. And he likes to work with them when they're at a certain age, and he likes to work with them during certain steps. And this is something that maybe this soul does. Like he goes from young horse to young horse to young horse, helping them with this new stages, certain stages of their experience. There we go. And now let's open up the box. And he left very little behind that was bad. It really does feel like this one soul was very, very aware of what he was doing, and he wasn't trying to unload anything bad onto you. He was really trying to help. And so now let's unlock that library, and we can see how if we were lumping all souls who have come and gone into the same category, we could miss completely the intention behind this one particular soul's interaction with us, how he came in consciously knowing what he wanted to do, how he wanted to help, the good things he wanted to impart, to give, to leave behind. And we could say, oh, all these souls, they only came in order to dump their garbage on us. And that's simply not the case. Every soul had their own intention. Every soul had what they wanted to accomplish by spending that time in your energy body. There we go. Now opening up that box and letting that teacher soul's information, the lessons, move up and into the conscious mind, move up and into the easily accessible parts of the energy body. And the beautiful thing that the angels are talking about that we really need to notice and to say out loud consciously is how it feels like the majority of these souls who move through your life, they weren't coming to use you as a dumping ground. They weren't coming to drop off their trauma and run. Most of them came because they thought you had great potential. They really believed in you, and they thought that they could be helpful, or that they could be a part of that which brings you to the success of this life. Many of them feel like they weren't terribly aware they were leaving trash behind them when they left, you know. A few of them, it feels like they thought about it and they thought like, well, this is payment, you know. I gave her good lessons, I gave her good support, I gave her important things, and in return I'm going to leave behind this old trauma that I really don't want to think about anymore. Good girl. Good girl. And she rolls. Beautiful. Now merging the energy bodies together and releasing that last bubble of trauma from that last box. And we're coming really to almost a present day. That last box, opening up the top of the box. There you go. And releasing that last bubble of trauma. Releasing that last important information that you needed to get, so it's moving through your energy body. Okay, sweetheart, you've done a really good job today. Maybe we head toward the closing process, and if something else comes up, we will deal with it as it comes. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, now correcting the errors, all the mistakes we made in this healing process today, really correcting them right now. So we're not leaving any mistakes on the table. There we go. So at least we're correcting them now. And while we're at it, let's correct the mistakes for the whole life. All the errors for the whole life. So at the very least, from this moment on, you'll be making new mistakes. Everything will be fresh from this moment on, okay? Now, merging in, including the omissions, everything we left out of this healing session that was supposed to be included, including it right now. So we haven't had anything totally left out. And now for the whole life, for Birdie's whole big life, let's include all of the things that were left out, all of the things we should have said that we didn't say, and should have done that we didn't done, including them all right now. And taking all the work that was done poorly and raising it up to well done with our own efforts. There you go. And taking all the work that was done well, raising it up as close to divine perfection as we're able to get it today with our own efforts. There we go. Now asking those guardian angels who have been working to open up the really big doors in the sky above Birdie for her life, if they're willing to take the work the rest of the way to divine perfection, because I'm not able to do that. But the big guys upstairs can. There we go. Now let's start to wrap the work, sealing up the work that's been done today, really sealing up the work that's been done today. There we go. So it's all included, and now sighting up through that pillar in the sky, through that hole in the sky, sighting up, aiming up through Birdie's personal guardian angels. And now it does feel like that higher soul guardian angel connection is a lot stronger than it was at the start of the session, and that's something I'm very grateful for. So let's sight up through them. Let's see if we can get those archangels who for some reason really do care a lot about the organization you're a part of, this particular group of people, this particular group of forces. Somebody big upstairs cares about them a lot, and so let's work with that, okay? Sighting way up through that vertical pillar, and now starting to send the work all the way up to them. You're doing a great job, sweetheart. There we go. Now, drawing the focus back to the sacred space we created at the very start of the session, strengthening that sacred space all the way around so that every time this recording plays, that space gets safer, more touched by the angels, more sacred, more in contact with the divine, not just for you, Birdie, but for everybody, for all the horses, for all the people, for everybody in your life, to be surrounded by the light, be surrounded by the safety. There we go. Now we're going to start to separate the energy, sending your energy back to you. There you go. Good response. Calling all my energy back to me, and sending everyone else's up to their own guardian angels to be sorted and sent back to them. And again, sending your energy back to you, calling all my energy back to me, and sending everybody else's energy up to their own guardian angels to be sorted and sent back to them. So no matter where they are, everybody's going to feel just a little bit better, even if they don't know why. A little piece of themselves will come back to them. There we go. Now, let's start to seal that sacred space, leaving no tears, no holes, no openings in the fabric. There we go. Beautiful. Just so that nobody can break in, so no bad guys can come busting into your energy body. That's not something that would be helpful. Okay, so Birdie, let's do a quick summary of the work that happened in this healing session. And we're aware it's the first healing session, and so it's always the first layer. But what came up in today's healing session was in the early period of your life, which really was about 8 years between your yearling year and about a year ago. During that period of your life, you had a lot of different souls moving through your life, and that's common. Most people of any amount of talent, of any amount of skill, they got a lot of souls moving through who are interested in being a part of their life, either because they're interested in being a part of the life of a successful person. That's generally it for a variety of intentions. But you had a lot of souls that came through, and all of them left things behind in your energy body, and some of the things were really beautiful, helpful, important things that will help you be very successful in your life. And some of the things were things that those souls just needed to let go of, that we are able to process for them and release so that they don't become problems in your life or anybody else's life. And so as you work with this healing recording, and when you're working under saddle and you have these experiences where you can feel something happening, and it can feel like a panic or a difficulty focusing, it can feel like a difficult time, what's happening is the opportunity to release the problem for the soul who left it behind, and then access that beautiful piece of information or pieces of information, that shelf of the library of your life that soul provided you with. And in this way, it can become a beautiful gift to have been and probably continue to be one of those people who has souls moving through your life at a pretty rapid rate, is that you can learn so much faster than everybody else. You can get information at a pace that nobody will be able to match. And that's a really good thing. And every time you work with this recording, you have the opportunity to go through that process of opening up the boxes left behind by the visiting souls, releasing this bad stuff they needed to get rid of, and then accessing that information. And you should feel more confident, because you know what this means? It means that very big deal people believe in you. And if self-confidence has been a problem for you, then boy, wouldn't that be a good way? Wouldn't that be a good way to handle that? Good girl. You did good work today. I look forward to hearing how it goes for you.